cost-related marketing or even CSR is about ticking the box for a lot of us. Because if it wasn't, then you will find that for a lot of companies, you can use that driver even as a subset of marketing to achieve your objectives, but then it's very important that the other elements must be well taken care of. Elements like, are you working with the right costs? Elements like, have you put enough investment in driving the awareness for that cause and also driving awareness for your brand? So very simply, cost-related marketing is a marketing tool that enables a company to build a relationship or partnership with a cause or a non-for-profit organization for mutual benefit. A lot of times, mutual benefits, very clear, is about awareness, and I'm talking about marketing objectives here, but awareness is about uptake of products or services, is about recognizability, is about affinity with the brand, and those other benefits which ultimately would lead to sales and which would lead to revenues at the end of the day. So how is this different, or how does it link up with sponsorship? Sponsorship is a tool, and I've found myself explaining this a lot of times when I show up in a company and I say that I work for this company and we are a sponsorship consulting company. First, I have to start defining sponsorship, and secondly, to try and explain where I'm coming from before I go in there. But sponsorships essentially started from philanthropy. Started so many years ago, mostly focused in the area of sports. And what tended to happen in those days was that the sponsor had a team, and which you still see a bit in Formula One these days. But what has happened in Formula One is that the owner of the team is not in the fore anymore. The person in the fore is now the brand that is associating with the team. But in those days, it was more about the owner who was paying to a certain property, sponsorship property, to help them and to promote themselves. But this moved from the 50s, 60s to the 70s, where corporates started to use sponsorship to build affinity and also to build lifestyle benefits around their brands. And this has moved again into the present, where it is more about the experience that the sponsor derives from the sponsorship and the kind of engagement that you can get from the sponsorship. Now, sponsorship defined is slightly different. Sponsorship is basically a company, a corporate buys into, or an organization buys into a platform called a sponsorship property, and they leverage the association between their brand and that property, and that they use to drive the kind of benefits that they're looking for. That is the simplest definition. Now, if you look at these two concepts, cost-related marketing and sponsorship, and you see where both of them come together, there are a few case studies, a few examples that has shown very clearly that between both concepts, that cost-related marketing is actually seen from a sponsorship point of view as one of the platforms through which a company or an organization can exploit their sponsorships, or one of the platforms that you can sponsor, just like you could sponsor a sport, or like you could sponsor music or entertainment or whatsoever it may be given. But the second school of thought, the second concept, sees cost-related marketing as an essential part of every form of sponsorship engagement. So it means that when you are looking at investing in sponsorship, a marketing tool to meet your marketing objectives, you are specifically, you have a principle that says that for any kind of sponsorship that I invest in, it must have a cost-related marketing leg. And that has governed some of the investments that we've seen lately. Some of the examples that we see, for instance, if you look around the FIFA World Cup that took place in South Africa, is you saw Coca-Cola pushing one of their courses, and one of the main courses for Coca-Cola is in the water area, and Coca-Cola using the platform of the World Cup to distribute clean water in South Africa, especially in those areas where it was very difficult to access clean water. Of course, the question that you would ask is, post-World Cup, do they still have access to the clean water? And I mean, that is another argument for a different day. But there are different examples. There are examples of Sony, who from the beginning of the World Cup till the end, in fact, long before the World Cup, 2-3 years before then, started to build digital villages to support the underprivileged in certain disadvantaged areas, and then drove that into the World Cup. So that is the second school of thought that looks at cost-related marketing, a subset of sponsorship, a subset of CSR, and planting that into any kind of sponsorship investment that you have. So for instance, you would see that the major sponsorships that you have, if you look at the Liverpool agreement with Standard Chartered, the specific terms that are inserted into that agreement to ensure that within some off-season periods, the major players in the team would use their influence and their impact to drive some of the causes that the bank has some interest in. So it means that for everything we invest in the area of sponsorship, there must be a cost that is linked to that. The last set of examples are from, the typical brands that are more focused on really hard-nosed marketing. And a very interesting one is from Pepsi, where for so many years, Pepsi, as we all know, and some other brands pay a lot of money to get on the Super Bowl in America just to buy commercial time. But around, I think it was 2009, decided to pull out of that investment and then move to a program called Pepsi Refresh Project, which is providing a certain amount in dollars and making it very clear that if you have any idea that is sustainable and that will help any of the societies in the disadvantaged areas, you pitch those ideas, Pepsi would support you, and then we will go into the market and make it happen. So instead of putting my money, paying millions of dollars on one 30-second spot, I would rather move it in this area. But at the end of the day, they still got the publicity they were looking for. They got the awareness, they got the affinity, and they got the other benefits that they were looking for. The summary is that between cost-related marketing and sponsorship, they are not essential.